Hello.
Hello.
We thought it was time we did a van review. We've had this van, Expedition 68, since January 2025. So it's coming up 18 months. And I made a few notes, so forgive us if we refer to the notes, but I think it's worth doing. I'd start this off by saying everything is our personal opinion. Don't make any buying decisions on just one video. Do your research. Having said that, we have really enjoyed the time we've had away in this van, haven't we?
Yes.
We've been all over. In fact, as far north, we've been around the top of Scotland, the NC 500. We've got a video on that, link in the description. We've been as far southeast as Canterbury. Again, we've got a video, link in the description. Southwest, we caught the ferry across to Jersey. We met up with Tash and Tracy from TNT Adventures. We haven't vlogged that yet. I'll leave a link to Tash and Tracy's in the description. As far west, we've done the Lake District, been across to Holyhead in Anglesey, been down into Wales. We haven't got as far as Devon and Cornwall yet, but that's certainly on our list of things to do. All in all, it's been a great van. We have enjoyed our time away, but there are a few niggles here and there that if you're looking at buying this van, you should probably be aware of. And it's certainly given us a bug for travelling, but with a few niggles here and there. So, all that said, how do we feel about the van? Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Are there any showstoppers? This is not going to be a traditional van tour where we show you everything about the van. There's lots of those on YouTube already. We're going to talk through the features, the goods and the bads, and we'll show you some of them as we go along. So it is a panel van conversion. I presume you know that if you've come here to watch this. But why do people choose this van over other panel van conversions? And I would say that it's mainly for the garage. It has a huge garage. I mean, we're talking massive, cavernous. And it's great for storing lots and lots of... We've never filled it, have we? We've never totally filled it. No. I think the van was originally designed for people with bicycles, and they do some optional extras with trays that roll out for loading.
Physically fit people, but like a challenge.
Yes. They have trays that will hold 2 bikes on each tray, and you can slide them in and out to make it easy to load. We're not cyclists. We didn't have those fitted. But we have filled it with table, chairs, air fryers.
Some shopping.
Lots of shopping. And a lot of other things.
Well, we store our clothes in it, don't we?
We have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we went away on the NC 500, we had some big boxes
and
full of clothes. Sadly, we only took summer clothes.
Yeah.
And it didn't turn out that way. Watch the video. You've got great access through the back doors, and the back doors do open. Normal van, plus they do go wide. I would suggest caution on windy days opening them really wide, because it's possible that the window could get caught. We've never done it, but it's possible. If we come to the other end of the van, you've got the cab. Now it's built on a Fiat Ducato chassis. Ours is a 2025 model. As you can see around us, we've got cab blinds. They are very easy to put up and down, although Carol struggles a little bit with the main windscreen one because it is stiffer and heavier to pull up. I have no problem with it. They do block the light. They do very good at that. The bad thing about the cab blinds is that from the driver's point of view, because of the way the cab blinds are fitted and they've got a frame on them, they can block the lower part of the mirror on the passenger side. And so the part of the mirror that dips down and points at the pavement, for instance, you might be looking at where you're reversing. You can't see that. You have to be manipulating your head around to see that. They also have the problem up at the top, because where the blinds come down, the sun visors, the frame for the blinds stops the sun visor going forward. So normally in a car you bring it down and tilt it forward so you can see under it, stops it doing it. So I'm not that tall, but in the perfect down position I can't see past the visor. So that is a downside. Cup holders are centrally located and they've got little rubber retainers in there. They can be a little awkward to use, especially if you're driving. You've got to lean down.
Positioned.
Yeah, you've got to dip down to pick your cup up and literally pull it out. You're going to need tops on the cups to stop them spilling for sure. There's handy storage boxes under the 2 seats, so we use those for storing the maps and also the manuals for the van. There's a glove compartment in front of the passenger, which is that one lockable? I don't know. It's not lockable. And there's also a box on the top of the dash on the passenger side, which has an extra USB charging cable in there. That's good. The bad thing about the dash, or the negative that I would come up with, is that there are no flat areas. When it was redesigned for the 24-25 model, they made it nice and contoured. So if you're trying to put down like a phone holder that sticks to the dash, there's no flat surface to stick it to. So that is a negative. You end up either trying to attach them to the air vents or do as I do, and I just put my phone down by the cup holders and use Bluetooth connection to the Apple CarPlay.
I put mine in the side of the door here, but there's always the risk when you open the door, it can fall out. Yeah,
the nice thing about them is the handle at the top of the door does have enough room just for the iPhone to go into. So take that for what it is. In terms of the engine and gearbox, I've only got good things to say. It's a 2.2 litre, I think 140 brake horsepower. It's an 8-speed automatic gearbox that we've got. And it's done everything we've asked of it. It's gone up all the hills, it's gone down, up and round, and motorway cruising, not a problem at all. We've got 38 miles per gallon on long runs on motorways, say going down to Canterbury. We were still in the low 30s going all the way around the NC 500. So no complaints. And I think we've done nearly 7,500 miles, and I think we've used about 15 litres of AdBlue. So not too bad. The infotainment system that we have was an extra that I think was fitted by the dealer. I don't know what comes standard. I don't know if they have a standard system or not. This is a Pioneer. It's got Apple CarPlay. It's got the Android, whatever the Android system is for cars. And it's got digital radio in it. Now, it's a good system, and the radio works fine, but I'll be honest, the speakers are a bit naff. They're okay when you set idle in the van, but as soon as you get driving with the road noise, the speakers really could do with upgrading. So if you're big into music and listening to music as you drive along, I would budget for an upgraded stereo speakers. We also got a reversing camera fitted. Definitely useful. It allows me to reverse within 4 or 5 inches of something without any worries. It is an optional extra, as I said, so if you're buying a new van, get the dealer to install it.
You have to have them fitted more or less, don't you?
Well, you don't have to.
It's
By the way,
like the car's peeping at you, telling you.
Yeah, it doesn't have the parking sensors on it. So having a reversing camera, if you don't want to throw somebody out in the rain to see where you're reversing, then you really do need the camera. It's worth having. It's also, you get a discount on your insurance. So that's worth knowing. The seats that we sat on, they do swivel, but they can be a bit of a pain. It's a 2 or 3 go round. You've got to pull the seats forward a little bit, pull the latch to rotate them, and then push them back again once you've got them rotated. And the driver's seat, if you're not careful, the pull down handles, the armrests, sorry, they can catch on the steering wheel, so that's why you have to pull them backwards and forwards. So just be aware of it. The mats on the floor, they are on little studs, and they're great mats, but they do, if
come away.
If you push your feet on the floor, sideways, they just come away. Be aware of it. Let's start looking at the fridge and the kitchen and generally that area. For me, the fridge is both a positive and a negative. It's very much a positive because it's a low power compressor fridge, and that will run off the leisure battery all day long. If you got solar charging the batteries, which we'll talk about solar and batteries in a moment, we just turn the fridge on, load it up, go, turn it off when we get home again after several days. We never have to worry about it. It just runs and runs and runs. The downside is it's not that big. Now, I've seen videos where people go, fridge is massive, it does everything we need. But for us, for some reason,
it's too small.
Yeah, we get 3 or 4 days worth of food in there, and it's jam-packed. So if you're somebody who's only going away from the weekend, it's fine. If you are going away for longer, you better plan on shopping.
You need to take a cold box.
Yeah, a cold box, but go shopping every 2 or 3 days, you'll be fine. There's no room for a microwave in the kitchen, which kind of limits how we cook. We really would like a microwave. It's okay cooking on the hob and the oven, which I'll come to, but a microwave would have been nice. We have got a little air fryer, so we sometimes bring the air fryer out and put it in the kitchen and cook that way too. The 2 burner hob works fine. No problems with it, really.
No, that's good.
We've never needed more than 2 burners, so nothing negative to say about it, really.
No, the oven, negative.
The oven's not so good. We haven't actually used the grill because our van didn't come with a grill pan. Apparently they are an optional extra. Some people do talk about their dealers including the grill pan. Ours didn't. The oven, I would say it's slow. I don't know that it ever really gets up to high temperature. We cooked a curry in there on one of the videos.
1.5 hours.
Well, yeah.
It was a long time.
The problem with that one is if you're not careful, you light it, you think it's going, you put your food in, and you go back in half an hour and it went out. It's only done that a couple of times, but a pizza that might take 12, 15 minutes at home, half an hour, 35 minutes. A pie that takes 25 minutes at home,
an hour.
45, 50 minutes, maybe an hour. So definitely have one of those prick-in thermometers that you can test how hot the food is. It's definitely worth having. The sink. The kitchen sink is tiny.
It's a Dolly and Teddy, isn't it?
It's a Dolly and Teddy sink. It's tiny. It's not big enough to get a normal dinner plate in. You can't get a washing up bowls. I mean, we end up washing up at the site facilities if they are there. Washing up in this sink, I just don't see the purpose of it. It's like a token sink. Mm. We store the washing up liquid and the gloves in there, and that's about all we use it for. Crackers. There's a drawer under the sink. They changed the drawers and the cupboard layouts between the 24 model, 25 model. The drawer under the sink is, I would say, adequate. One side of it's for cutlery, and that works fine. The other side is more of an open general area that we ended up with. It is more of a dump drawer. Anything that didn't have its own place
goes in there.
It just gets put in there. All the odds and ends. The cupboards under the sink, again, are adequate. They're not massive. Again, I've seen videos where people say, oh, it's massive, you can get lots of stuff in here. The problem is that the van is so cramped in that particular area that maybe if you're fit as a fiddle and skinny as a rake, bending down into those cupboards and looking isn't a problem.
You can't even, it doesn't matter how thin you are, you can't bend down, unless you're a giraffe, and get round and under there. You have to get on the floor.
Well, the problem is that as you open the cupboard doors, you're pretty much having to stand the other side of the doors, lean over and reach in. So it's not great. We get Ridge Monkeys in there, the toasters in there, 2 or 3 pans are in there. Yeah, it works. For a short period of time, it's fine. If you are going to go away for longer, you're going to have to be pretty disciplined with what you bring. There is a work surface extension that pulls up, and it extends it by what, about another 15 inches or so.
It's
and
good.
It's great. It's absolutely perfect.
With the exception,
it extends the work surface and it gives you just that little bit extra that you need. But when it's up, you can't get in and out the door anymore.
And Florence wants to go out when it's up. We have to take everything off, and yeah.
So it's good. It's
I think
functional.
for most people it would work, but if you had, say, a small child with you,
or you're
or a
cooking,
dog.
you're preparing a meal, someone else is outside and they
Yeah.
want to come in, you've got to collapse it again, or they've got to come in through the cab. So yeah, it's good. I wouldn't be without it. It's just a negative to be aware of. What else is on my list here? Okay, so there's cupboards above the cooker, and they've got a little light under them, which is good. There's also cupboards above the dinette area, and they're good cupboards. You can fill them with tins and cups and tea and coffee and things, but interesting that not one of them has a flat surface. They're all stepped within the cupboard.
Is that because of the contour of the van?
I don't know whether it's for wiring. It could well be for wiring or something like that. And it's the same for the cupboards at the back over the bed. They've got a step up in them, so I don't know why that is. It's just awkward. So those cupboards are fairly shallow as well in the first place. So if they'd been flat, they would have been better, but they're not. So, yeah, good to have the cupboards. Bit of a negative the way they're shaped. To one side of the cooker, there's also drawers. And what we use those drawers for has changed over time. We now use the top drawer for our dinner plates, bowls, a couple of plastic glasses in there, our small electric kettle, and our placemats for the table. And we do that because it's very easy to get into that drawer to get to stuff, and it's easy to put it away again, instead of bending down into the cupboards. Then the drawers below, drawer 2 and 3, we've started using for clothing. Again, it's easy access instead of having it in cupboards over the bed, which we find a bit of a pain to get to. We use the drawers. Getting dressed on a morning, getting undressed at night can be a bit
challenging.
Again, if you are skinny and fit, you may not have the same issues. But
why do you look at me when you say that?
Then there's a fourth, what you think is a drawer, but it's actually just an opening. And we've tended to use put things in there that are easy to get in and out, like the iPad or laptops. So that's what's stored in there. The other problem is that to get up to the bed, there's a ladder. Carol calls it a budgie ladder because it's like the ladders you get in budgie cages. And if that ladder is in place, not only can you not get through the doors into the garage from inside, but you can't really open any of the drawers either. They just open a little bit. So I replaced the ladder with some custom steps, which allows one of the doors to open into the garage and also all the drawers to open.
Which did solve the problem.
It did solve that problem, but...
Aren't we on Mark 2 of the...
We're on Mark 2 because
Mark 2.
I made some steps that were just slightly bigger and we decided we'd shrink them a little bit. Even so, getting up and down the bed, we'll come to that. The whole area around the fridge and the drawers and the entrance to the garage, that can all be a bit dark. There's a couple of cupboards one behind the fridge on one side and behind the toilets on the other side, and they're really dark. because even if you've got light coming in from behind, as you open the doors, it blocks the light. So we fitted some LED lighting in there that's movement sensitive, so when we open the cupboard, the lights comes on. Anything else to say about those cupboards?
They're not easy to get to.
Especially if you've got the ladder in the way or the
Yeah.
steps. You're leaning over things to try and get into a cupboard, and it's a bit of a pain. But, you know, you can store good stuff in there. We use one side for food and the other side for general stuff.
My cosmetics and toiletries, and
What can I say?
because there's no room to put them in the bathroom.
No. Before we get to the bathroom, let's talk about power. Obviously, you've got your gas bottles in the back, and that will take 2 6-kilogram bottles. On the roof, you've got a solar panel, which actually has worked pretty well for us. We did opt to have 2 leisure batteries. Actually, we got it with one, and then we got the second one added. We didn't want any anxiety going off grid. Are we going to run out of power from the leisure battery? Are we going to be draining it too much? Are we going to damage the battery? So we had the second battery fitted, and I have to say that all through the winter, the solar panel has kept all the batteries topped up. It tops up the leisure batteries and the vehicle battery. All through summer, it's just never been a problem, has it? It's just kept everything topped up perfectly. No complaints about that at all. There are USB sockets in the van. There's 2 above the rear seats. They are USB type A's. The issue I have with those is that unless you have long cables, it doesn't reach the table. So you end up resting the device, like your phone, or maybe charging some earpods or an Apple Watch or something. You end up resting them on top of the seat backs, the headrests. So that's a bit of a pain. There's also 2 USB sockets in the cab while you're driving. One's a USB-A, one's a USB-C. They're great for charging your phone while you're driving and using it maybe as a sat-nav, just to keep that topped up. There's 2 USB sockets above the bed in the corner. Several people have complained that there's a strong blue light within it and it keeps them awake. The other problem is that if you've got your phone plugged in there on a night, you've basically got your phone in bed with you because there's nowhere else to put it. We've ended up fitting a couple of cargo nets. There's a 12-volt socket in the cab which we've used either to run a sat-nav or to recharge a Jackery as we've been running along. 2 40-volt power. There are 2 sockets, one above the cooker, one near the entrance door, which it's a bit low down. You can run a cable down from the work surface down to it if it's long enough. The toaster just about reaches, the kettle just about reaches, but that's it. There's another one in the garage which I thought maybe we would use, but I don't think we've ever used it, have we?
No.
So there are 3 240-volt sockets. Alas, there are none by the table, so that if you want to sit at the table with, say, a laptop plugged in, you've got to trail the cable across the van. That's it for power, I think. The control systems above the door, they work fine. We've not had any problems. I know some people have said, oh yeah, I was just come up with an error and you've got to go through a reset sequence, but we had literally 0 problems. There's the control for the hot water, which runs off either gas or electric. If you get onto site, you just select, do you want 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt, and the same for the heating. The heating's blown air and can be a little bit noisy if you were a light sleeper, but it's not really bothered us, has it?
No, I prefer the heating off at night. I know you don't.
The control panel also tells you about the state of the water tanks. So you've got a fresh water tank, and that's got 5 readings, being empty, more than 25%, more than 50%, more than 75%, or full.
I think it's fair to say it's not.
It's not super accurate.
No.
The waste tank only has 2 readings, totally empty or totally full. We've never had it show anything but 0%, because even when I've been flushing out the system and I've taken a full fresh tank and drained it into the waste tank. It's not shown full. What can I tell you? Toilet and shower. This, I think, is our biggest bugbear.
We didn't want a combined toilet and shower. We had said from the beginning, oh, we're not having one, we're not having that. And then you selected this van. You decided you were going with this make. And suddenly we had to compromise.
So it is a combined toilet and shower, and I would say it was adequate for a couple of days away, weekends away. And if you're staying on a site, then you're probably just using the facilities there. If you're going off grid, the shower is not great. Toilet works fine, no problem with that.
No,
It's easy to empty. The cassette comes in and out. It's perfect. The shower, it's almost impossible to get a good shower in there. You
can't stand under it, can you?
You can't. It's stuffed into the corner behind this horrible sink, which we'll talk about in a moment. So you end up hand holding it, and you're going in short bursts. Wet yourself, soap, drain, whatever. It's just not brilliant.
And there's no way to put the soap while you're doing all that. You have
Other than in the sink.
In the sink, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the sink. It's tiny.
It's like a Dairy Lee cheese triangle, isn't it?
Even brushing your teeth, it's suboptimal. It's not ideal at all. It's tiny. So I don't know who designed the sinks for this, both the kitchen sink and the shower and toilet sink. It's really small. The bed. I've seen videos where people say it's really comfortable, and I don't know what kind of bed they're sleeping on, because for us, it's been... Actually, one thing I've forgotten, in the shower, there's only one drain hole. So unless the van is level, if you're slightly tipped forward, which is how the van is by default, the water collects. You have to push it round into the drain. Anyway, going back to the bed. We found it to be somewhat uncomfortable. The mattress is not very thick, and it comes in several sections. So if you just happen to be laid on the area where there's a join, you don't have much support at all.
And we've got a mattress topper and a protector on.
We've got a topper on there.
Which boosts it, but...
It's not brilliant.
Yeah. And it's small. I know we're used to a much larger bed, but I just think that's small.
You're supposed to. I think it's expected that you'll sleep side to side, and you'll sleep with your head towards the near side of the vehicle, because the offside has the cupboards above it. So obviously, if you're sleeping that way, you'd bang your head if you tried to get up. And I think most people do sleep side to side. I found that bed really problematic, because as you're sleeping on each side, if you're at the back, you've got the back cover there right up against you, and if you're on towards the front, you've got the cupboards up against you, so you can't stretch out beyond the side of the bed. You're restricted. We've ended up sleeping front to back instead, so our heads are against the back of the van, and our feet
are on the cushion.
Just beyond the steps.
It's worked.
It's worked, and it's worked quite well. It has the advantage that if the person who's at the back needs to get up in the night for any reason, then having to crawl over the person that's further forward. And if you sleep front to back, you can back out of the bed and crawl down the steps without disturbing the other one. And it does give you much more side-to-side room. The bed is effectively bigger, but as I said, your feet are beyond the bed and they're on the cushion. So just be aware of that. The ladder that they provide, the Budgie Ladder, we just couldn't use.
No.
You know, unless you've got...
Because you can miss where you're putting your foot.
Well, you can do that, but, you know, if you've ever had something called, I think it's plantar fasciitis, where your foot, it's painful to walk on your feet. Those ladders are going to kill you. So, like, as I said before, we ended up with a step where you actually get a full foot on the step, and it's easier to get up and down. But the ladder...
No.
And they're in so many motorhomes and vans, and, you know, I accept they are everywhere. And if you like them, great. We don't. The rear seats behind the table, they're very firm, aren't they?
Mm.
They're not luxurious. They are, I would say, the minimum they could get away with.
Yeah.
And by the way, the batteries are under that seat as well. If you wanted to use that to spread out and lean against the side of the van, you're going to need a really good cushion, because you'd be half onto the side of the van and half into the window, which can get pretty uncomfortable. So, not brilliant. Front seats are more comfortable. I think a lot of people end up just sitting in the front seats. And the problem with the front seats is that from the passenger side, the table doesn't extend there. Well, actually the standard table does, and I'll come to that in a moment. But it's more difficult to eat from that side of the van than it is from this. So somebody ends up sitting on the more uncomfy seats, and someone ends up sitting in the driver's seat that's been turned around. The factory fitted table, it's a big table, and you look at the van, you go, wow, that's a big table. And what's more is it's got a part that rotates out from underneath to extend it, and it almost extends as far as the kitchen work surface. And at least it gives the chance
It's for a dinner party, isn't it?
For somebody sat on this seat to have a chance of eating. But that table is generally...
It's too big.
Yeah, way too big. And it blocks access through to the cab. So that as you're trying to get back into the van or you're getting into the cab, you're banging yourself on the corner of the table. It's nasty. So we made our own table. A lot of people stick with the standard one, but a lot of people do change it. And I think for the 2026 model, they've changed the shape of it now, so it makes it easier to get out of the cab. Carpets, we actually bought the van not knowing it had the carpets with it. They were an optional extra. And we weren't going to buy the carpets because we didn't think we'd want them. We thought they'd get dirty, etc. But they've proved quite useful. They're actually easily removable. They fit onto the floor using press studs. So whip off the press studs, you can take the carpet out and clean underneath
you will get stones coming in.
So, I mean, if you're staying on sites with hard standing or you're just generally walking around stony areas, you aren't going to bring stones into the van. There's just no two ways about it. And it's nice that the carpet, this is going to sound daft, the carpet picks up those stones, and then it's easy to pick the carpet up and throw the stones out instead of you walking on the hard surface and getting marks from the stones. Anything to add on the carpets?
No, I thought that would do.
Yeah.
I'm glad they were here.
Yeah. Windows, easy to open. They've got stayers on them, so they will stay open. They do seem a bit flimsy. I don't know how well they would
Are these
survive.
standard windows, though, for most motorhomes, campervans?
Well, different brands have different windows, and I think these are made to a price.
Yeah.
And I don't know how well they would resist somebody trying to break in. I don't know. They've got all the standard catches on them. They're probably fine. They're double glazed.
Well, one we had Van Guardian done, didn't he cover that?
Yeah, well, we have a Van Guardian alarm, which we've also got a video on, which I'll put a link in the description. But we had them put over the big windows just to stop anybody trying to break in. They've all got privacy blinds. They're easy to pull up, and they've got fly screens, easy to pull down. When you're trying to pull them up and put them down, there's a knack to it, which you will discover as you go. I won't spoil your fun, but there is a bit of a knack to it. But they'll work fine, no problem with it. Some people have said, "Oh, ours are sagging," but we've had zero problems there. So I'm going to call that a positive. We did have a big fly screen fitted to the big door by our dealer before we took the van.
Which
that was
you
definitely,
do need.
Yeah, it's definitely useful in Scotland to keep the midges out. And if you're on a site with lots of flies at the time. We haven't used it every time. but when you need it, you need it. And I'm glad we had it. Just generally inside, I think the biggest issue for us is that it's very narrow inside. It's a very narrow van. There is literally zero room for two people to pass.
Oh, you can't. Well,
you've either got to stand into the doorway, or you've got to sit down on a seat, or go into the cab while somebody else manoeuvres around. It's the kitchen is a one person. Somebody can't go to the bathroom while somebody's in the kitchen unless you move out of the way. If somebody's cooking breakfast while somebody's getting down from the bed, you've got to put everything down and come out of the way all the way. So that's a bit restrictive. A couple of other little niggles. The fire extinguisher's buried in a cupboard.
yes, that annoys me.
Behind the fridge. I'm not sure I know where else I'd put it other than by the door, but just seemed odd. It's buried. Another little niggle, the step size. Everybody seems to complain about the step size. It's massive. It's brilliant. It's fantastic step. But you need to put it in the garage. As soon as you put it in the van, it fills the area behind the passenger seat. So if you then want to get out of that door, you've got to climb onto the step first, and then you've got a bigger jump down.
I think the electric step would have been good.
Electric steps add to the price, of course, and they are on the V-Line, which is a higher model. But, yeah. So just about everybody gets a smaller step, which we do for travelling, and then we swap them over when we get to site. One of the biggest bugbears is the noise of the sliding door. It's a van. It's like Amazon are delivering. Bang. And
when I had to let Florence out the other morning, 4 o'clock, because she could hear crows, I opened it really quietly, but you have to bang it to close it.
Yeah, you have to give it a really good push to close it, and that's a big bang. So I would say that is a negative, but guess what? You're going to get that with all camper vans, whether you go with a VW or you go with an Auto Trail or you go with somebody else. It's a door, and it's not...
I don't think it'd be a problem in daytime.
No.
It's just that if you are if you're setting off early on a morning, you are going to be disturbing some people with that bang.
And maybe you don't care disturbing other people. Maybe you don't care, and it's your door and you're going to bang it, and that's fine. I'm just letting you know that we find it an issue. Now, there might seem like a lot of negatives in that, and I don't mean to be negative. I'm just telling you there's good things about the van, and there's bad things about the van. There's nothing that's really ugly. It's just that...
No, I would say for our first van...
Yeah,
I think it's been very good, and it's got us to places that... I mean, we like to travel, but normally we when we're on a cruise, we go on a tour, and they take you where they think you want to go. And I think we do miss a lot of things that way. But certainly going around the UK, we've been to places that we just wouldn't have gone to, would not have happened. Florence comes with us, and it's good.
Well, that's the reason we bought a van originally, was that A, we can go places we wouldn't go, and B, we can take Florence. Now, we've covered a lot of stuff, but you may well have questions that we haven't covered. So if that's the case, please leave them in the comments below, because we'll try and answer them as best we can. And I guess with most reviews, the ultimate question is, would we buy the van again? And we've given a lot of thought over a lot of time, and with the experiences we've had and the places we've been and the things we've done. And I think this van is well suited to a lot of people. Whether you do water sports, or you do cycling, or you just like to carry a lot of stuff. But unfortunately, it's not for us. So no, we wouldn't buy this van again. And in fact, we are looking at changing. And I'm not going to tell you what we're looking at changing to, because that's for another video. But we think the van we're looking at will address pretty much all of the concerns. Yeah. who knows until you get one and you actually go travelling in it. But if you're still with us, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to see what happens from here on. Take a look at the videos we did for the NC500 and down to Canterbury, amongst others. And there's also a video on fitting Vanguardian alarms. So thanks again for watching. See you soon.
Bye.